Today I'd like to talk to you about how to set a cot up for an 8-week-old baby. Now, when your baby is about 8 weeks old, parents often move them from a smaller cot or crib into the big one. So we're going to talk about setting up a big crib, a big cot. The most important thing with the cot is that you have slats the whole way around. We know that SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, and SUDI, the sudden unexpected death of an infant, is reduced when a child has lots of airflow. So if you have slats on all 4 sides of the cot, you have increased airflow. Don't worry if you don't. If you've already bought your cot and 1 or 2 of the ends are solid, it's not ideal, but you can turn that solid end in against the wall. And if the solid end is against the wall and the 2 long ends with the slats are out, you will get airflow. The next thing we need to look at is the mattress. It's very important. This is a Save Our Sleep organic mattress, organic cotton covered mattress. So the cover is organic cotton, and then there's a lamb's wool underneath and there's springs and so on. Now, it's very important. A lot of people put their money into the cot and not the mattress. I would say just go to somewhere like Kmart, Target, Dunn Stores, Mothercare and buy a low-cost cot if you haven't got a big budget. But then put your money into the mattress. What your baby sleeps on is going to affect their sleep and their safety. What they sleep in isn't, of course, because all of the cots in Australia meet a safety standard. So, and the same with whatever, if you live in somewhere like the United Kingdom, you will have a safety standard for your cot. So the actual cot isn't that big a deal, but the mattresses in Australia do not pass safety standards. There is not a mandatory safety standard for a mattress. I suggest getting an adult type mattress like this, cut down. So this is an adult mattress. These are made by a factory that makes adult cot mattresses, and they are made for me. The most important factor with the mattress is that the person making it, mattresses are handmade. You want them to be made by people who don't smoke cigarettes. Picture somebody smoking a cigarette, then washing their hands. They will still have nicotine on their hands, and then they rub their hand down the mattress as they make it. They're going to leave the nicotine on the mattress. So it's not about being organic. A lot of people think, oh, I want an organic this, organic that. But yes, this is called an organic cotton covered mattress. But that's not what makes it the best selling mattress in Australia. It's the fact that it is made by non-smokers, because if clothing is made by someone who smokes, they can wash it. They can't wash a mattress. And so this is really important. You want your baby in a cigarette smoke-free environment. So you also now want the mattress. It needs to fit the cot firmly. There needs to be no gaps. It needs to fit firmly. We have different mattresses for different size cots. So do other places if you look at other mattresses. Now, take your hand and push it down on the mattress. You take your hand, you press it down. When you lift your hand up, if you can see your handprint, it is not a safe sleeping environment for your child. If you cannot see your handprint, it is. Latex isn't good. Latex makes babies sweat. The next thing you want is the Save Our Sleep Mattress Protector. This is 100% cotton. Now, I don't know what it is about this mattress protector. They're made for us in New South Wales by Bambi. Babies don't sweat. I have tried to make the mattress protector myself so that I don't have to purchase it off another company, so it can be cheaper and more people can afford them. But we can't copy it. We don't know what the science is of this mattress protector, but whatever way Bambi make it, it causes no sweating. We have them for cots right up to Super King beds. People, adults who have say they sweat at night, try our mattress protector and stop sweating. Don't know what the magic is. If you can't afford the mattress protector, you can use a cotton towel. Now, we have the Save Our Sleep Bedding Guide. It explains in it alternatives, like you can use towels instead of blankets, you can use a towel instead of a mattress protector. If you have a big budget, get the Save Our Sleep Mattress Protector. That goes on your mattress. Then, because it is not waterproof, you do not want your mattress protector to be waterproof. If your mattress protector is waterproof, it's breathe-proof. So if your child rolls to their tummy, they cannot breathe if they end up face down in a waterproof mattress protector. You don't want waterproof. So because it's not waterproof, if your child does have a little posit or is sick, it's going to go through the sheets, might go through the mattress protector onto the mattress. This is why I say to use bamboo sheets. Bamboo sheets are good because they absorb 70% more moisture than cotton. So if your baby does have a little posset, which is when a baby brings up a little bit of milk, it's not going to soak through as easily because it's bamboo. The next thing you want is now in lots of sheet sets you get a pillowcase. Why do they give pillowcases? I don't know, because you shouldn't use a pillow in your baby's cot. The next thing you want is a burper like this. You put this under your baby's head. So we're going to say the baby's going to go about here, and we're going to put the burper under the baby's head. That way, if your baby has a little posset, you can just remove the burper and put a new one down. Now, the burper needs to be of a size that if the baby was to get it, they wouldn't be able to wrap it around their neck, because babies get bigger and bigger children tend to try things out in their cot. Please note that this cot is made for a baby between 8 weeks and 5 months. It's on the higher setting. As your baby gets older, you will need to drop the cot setting so that your baby cannot accidentally stand up and fall out. So that's how we set the cot up. Now, we're going to look at the bedding guide, and you need to read the text. If it was just about this table, I wouldn't have written all the pages of text. A lot of people pick the guide up, they don't read the text, and they just follow the guide. Well, there wouldn't be all of this text if it was as simple as that. So you need to use the guide. Now, in the guide, you need to read the text and then use the guide. In the guide, we have information for a baby who is 0 to 8 weeks. At 8 weeks, under 8 weeks, we only use the wrap and a wrap. After 8 weeks, we put a safe sleeping bag under the wrap and a wrap. You can put the safe sleeping bag on sooner. It's important to have it on by 8 weeks, so that when your baby is moving from one sleep cycle to the next, they have the sleeping bag. And also, they start to sleep more deeply at 8 weeks and their body temperature drops. Now, so we have baby who's not wrapped, a baby who's wrapped over the sleeping bag, and then a baby who is no longer in the sleeping bag. And we also have different parts because the humidity is different depending on where you live. So this is very important. We take a thermometer. I like a standalone thermometer. Lots of people have thermometers that are in baby monitors or in the heating systems. You need a standalone monitor so we know what temperature it is in the baby's cot. And also other bits like sound, movement, they can cause heat and then the thermometer might not give the correct reading. This says it's 20 degrees, so it's 20 degrees in Victoria. That's what we're going to go with. Now, you wouldn't leave this in the cot with the baby once, but you have it in the cot, then you come in to put the baby to bed, you lift it up, look at it, and then you take it out of the cot. If it accidentally was left in the cot, it's not going to do any harm. It is safe because, of course, I would never recommend anything that's not safe, but you would try and take it out. Now, so baby in cot. Now, this is our baby who we're going to pretend is 8 weeks old. When a baby is 8 weeks old, we dress them in a bodysuit, a short-sleeved bodysuit. This is what we call a bodysuit that buttons under your bum. You don't want one that ends here, which is a singlet, because it rides up and irritates the baby's belly button. So you want a bodysuit. When your baby is no longer wrapped, you would use a long-sleeved bodysuit. Then you're going to put your baby in a bundler, which looks a bit like a baby grow, but it has no legs. Or you can put your baby in a baby grow with feet, or a baby grow with no feet, or a bundler. Then we're going to put our baby in a safe sleeping bag. Now, a safe sleeping bag needs to have the neck and arms fitted so that your baby's head can't go through. Lots of sleeping bags have got lots of excess at the end. You don't want to put the baby in the cot like that because it's going to make the baby too hot. You're going to fold that under. But before we do that, we're going to wrap our baby in a wrap and a wrap. So this is a wrap and a wrap. Now, there is lots of swaddles out there with zips down the front. They are not a good idea. They are not safe. If you put a baby in a swaddle with a zip up the front and their arms in, their arms are like this. They can use their arms to help them flip to their tummy, and then they are trapped on their tummy with their arms in. I always wrap a baby in a traditional wrap like this. So we take the baby in their safe sleeping bag because they are over 8 weeks old. And you put the baby down on the wrap. You want them down about an inch from the top of the wrap and a wrap. Wrap and a wrap, a double wrap or wrap and a wrap is the same thing. We take baby's arm, we take this side of the wrap first, we bring it over around. It is so much easier with a real baby. Under the baby's bottom like this. Depending on the size of the baby, you may wrap a couple of times. Take the other arm like this, round. Now, if you find that your baby is getting out, you can do like a little twist around their hand like that, if you want to. Other people, you don't need to at first. So we wrap round under the baby's bottom like this. Then we take this side over under the baby's bottom, and then this side comes over, pull it very, very firm around and under the baby's bottom again. So now your baby is in their wrap and a wrap over their safe sleeping bag. You might ask why we have the sleeping bag under the wrap and a wrap. This is because as your baby gets older, you will remove the wrap and a wrap and you will have just a sleeping bag. And it's very important that the inside of the sleeping bag always feels the same. More children seem to have sensory issues at the moment, not 100% sure why, but we're seeing more children with sensory issues, and one of the issues is they like things to feel the same. So it's good to have the sleeping bag from 8 weeks the whole way through their childhood of using a sleeping bag. We're going to take baby, turn baby around. You always have baby's feet as close to the end of the cot as possible. So now baby is the end of the cot. You don't put the sleeping bag over the baby, as I said earlier. You put the sleeping bag under the baby, because if you put it over, you would increase the baby's weight. The other important thing to note is that this baby can still move their hips wrapped like this, because the sleeping bag helps to balloon out the wrap. These sleeping bags are balled outwards as well. They're ballooned outwards so that the baby can move their hips as they get older. Hip movement is very important while the baby's in bed. It helps their hips. So the next thing you put on your baby is a flat sheet. Now, lots of people ask why we use a flat sheet. We use a flat sheet because it protects the blankets from getting dirty. If you didn't use a flat sheet and your baby sucked the blankets or posited on the blankets, you would have to wash the blankets more often. Because this baby is 8 weeks old, I'm folding this sheet twice, which makes 4 sheet layers. But you could just fold it, I'm folding it twice, which makes 4 layers, but you could just fold it once for a bigger baby. So I'm putting the sheet over the baby like so. Now, we look at our bedding guide. We look at our bedding guide and we see how many blanket layers we need. We're going to do 8 blanket layers for this baby in the cot. Now this is, all of my blankets that I have are big cot-sized blankets. They're all see-through. I don't know if you can see that you can see me through this, but they are all see-through. They're all breathable. They're a mixture of bamboo and cotton. There's no point buying bassinet blankets because your baby will grow. You are better to buy cot-sized blankets and fold them twice, which makes 4 layers. So this one is our beautiful, delicate heirloom one. It is 100% bamboo, which gives it weight. I call these my weighted blankets because they give weight to the baby. Weight helps the baby feel safe and secure. So that's 4 layers. On top of that, we're going to put our luxury blanket. Now this is our heaviest in weight. All of our blankets are TOG tested and they are all 0.6 TOG. They're all TOG tested and 0.6 TOG. So this blanket we put on, which gives us the 8 layers. So it's 4 more blankets, which gives us the 8 layers. Now, this goes on the baby like this. I do not tuck the blankets in. So I take the sheet, I put the sheet over the top of the blankets, and I don't tuck the blankets in, because if you tucked the blankets in, I cocoon. In hospitals they cocoon, I cocoon, because if you cocoon, no air goes down here and the baby will stay on their back like that. If you tuck the blankets in, you do this. If you tuck the blankets in and do that, cold air is going to go down either side of the baby, and when a baby gets cold, they will roll to their tummy, if they can roll. And like this, if they rolled tucked in, they would now be on their tummy, pinned down by the blankets. If we don't tuck the blankets in and we cocoon the blankets, first of all, they are less likely to get cold. And if they did get cold, they would move with the blankets, and then when they roll, they can roll back and the blankets move with them. So it's much safer.